Hey y'all, what's up? It's Absolutely April here for another recap. This time is for a TV show. I'm going to recap and review Anne Rice's interview with the vampire. Oh my God. If y'all are into like horror and gory stuff, this is the show for you. Trust. If you like vampires, if you were into the underworld and stuff like that, I've never seen the movie Interview with the Vampire with Brad Pitt, but I'm going to make sure I watch it to see if there's any similarities. But baby, I am enjoying this show. Before I do go into my recap, let me just make pleasantries. Welcome to my channel. I'm Absolutely April, and I do recaps of TV shows, reality shows, movies. I might throw in some spirituality things. So you get a whole lot in this channel. I'm giving you me. So go ahead and subscribe. Join my tribe. I appreciate community and I love the commentary. So come on in. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Also hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified about all of my uploads. Also, share it. I don't know if anybody else is watching it. I haven't seen many reviews from the reviewers that I watch. I haven't seen any reviews on this, so I'm excited to do it. So yes, go ahead and share this video so I can get some more subscribers. Come on, come on, come on. And if you are returning, I appreciate wholeheartedly your support. You just don't understand. This is a little passion project that I'm doing. So when you return, watch my videos, interact with me, it really makes me feel good. So I really, really appreciate you. So let's get into the review, honey, because I wasn't expecting this. The only thing that really drew me in at first, because the guy, the leading actor, Jacob Anderson, the black guy, he played Grey Worm in Game of Thrones. So I did like a little video about House of Dragon, and I spoke about being a very, very avid Game of Thrones fan. I have watched it from season 1 on to season 9. At least 2 or 3 times all the way through. So that's what kind of drew me in, because I was like, is that Grey Worm? So yes, Jacob Anderson is Grey Worm from Game of Thrones. He is now playing Louis Pont du Lac. He's playing Louis. And so he is the leading character. So that's what kind of drew me in to say, let me see what this is all about. And plus, it's a black vampire. I'm like, usually we're not in that whole, in that whole arena. So I was really, really excited to see what they were going to do about it. So yes, this I'm doing episodes 1 through 3 because I kind of jumped in late because I was reviewing other shows and didn't have time, but I did have time to kind of binge episodes 1 through 3. So I definitely wanted to come here and let you know my thoughts and encourage you to go ahead and watch if you like stuff like this. So we start out, I got some slides for y'all too. This is the cast. The older gentleman to the left, he is going to be the interviewer. Next to him is Jacob Anderson, who is also known as Grey Worm. And next to him is Sam Reed, who plays Lestat. And next to him is a girl that I'm sure is going to come in, I think, episode 4. We haven't gotten there yet. And I'm not sure. I don't know her name. I apologize, but I don't know her name. But I've seen previews, and I think she's going to be off the chain. So, yes. So, like I said, he's the interviewer, and I can't remember his name. I hate that. But anyway, he's doing the interview with Louis. So he is kind of like skeptical of what happened. I think they had an interview prior to, and I think Louis may have jumped on him, may have gotten a little blood from him. I'm not really sure. But So he has lured him into doing another interview with him. So he's sitting down in this on this slide, talking to Louis. Louis is kind of like going from the start all the way to where he is now. So yeah, so he's the interviewer. He's doing the interview, but he is highly skeptical of what all the stuff that Louis is saying. So this is how Louis looks today. And they are bringing it into today's world where they're talking about the ponderosa, the beer virus, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, they're talking about that. And he's asking, like, is this why, he's coming forward? Are there more of these vampires out that have been made due to the ponderosa? So they are trying to figure, he's like talking to him about that. So this is how Louis looks now. He looks a little bit more refined, not really older because, vampires really don't get older. So yeah, so this is Louis and he's talking, he's giving, divulging all of his secrets. So this slide right here is showing Louis, this is like at the beginning where Louis, he runs like a brothel. So Louis runs a brothel, and his brother, who is walking next to him in the gray, is like, he's very eccentric. He is heavily into the church, but I feel like, I'm heavily into spirituality and things. So I feel like he really does get downloads from spirit, but because, he comes off so eccentric and erratic, people think he's crazy, but he know what he be talking about if you really listen to him. So his brother Paul goes to the brothel to try to lure the women out and try to basically save them. You know how you go and get all the souls and try to save them to Jesus Christ. So he's doing that. So Louis is telling him, like, you're not good for business. Get away from my establishment. You're not good for business. Bye. Go. So the brother is like, no, I'm going to stay. So they end up tussling in the streets. Louis has to pull out his knife that is in a cane on his brother to get him to leave. Now, he's not going to hurt his brother. He's more of a protector of his brother. But at the same time, he is the provider for the family because Louis and Paul and Grace is the sister, their father passed away. So that catapulted Louis into having to take care of the family. So he is taking care of the family by doing these type of, jobs or having these type of establishments. But the brother don't agree. But at the end of the day, Louis is like, I got to do what I got to do so we can become more legit. So he's talking to him now, and in this particular clip, just trying to tell him, this is not what you should be doing, and trying to save Louis' soul. So on this clip right here, this is Lestat. Louis meets Lestat. He goes to one of the brothels, and he has to interact with the white men. So Louis, how it was back in the day. You couldn't really be a black man and kind of be maneuvering in these type of environments. You kind of had to cower down. So Louis is doing that. Mr. So and so. Yes, sir, Mrs. So-and-so, stuff like that. So his eye catches over because he likes Lily, which is the girl in this clip, she's a sex worker in the white brothel. So he likes Lily. He sees this white guy talking to Lily, which is Lestat. As he is talking to Lestat, he is noticing that, he's drawn into him. So Louis is a gay man that, I think he's more bisexual because he has feelings for Lily, but he is also drawn into men. I don't know. I think he's, teetering with how he feels because in this particular time, you couldn't be an openly gay black man. That's just not going to happen. You probably get lynched, all type of stuff. So Louis is, wanting to talk to Lily, and he's drawn into Lestat, and Lestat is drawn into him. Prior to when I told you that they were him and Louis and his brother was tussling in the streets because he was trying to save these souls of these women, these sex worker women. Lestat was there, and he catches eyes with Louis as he's tussling in the street with his brother. So that's when Lestat first sees Louis, and he's like immediately drawn to him. So when he comes into this brothel, he sees him again, and he kind of plays with his mind, like he is like telepathically talking to Louis, and Louis is like, how the hell is this happening? How is this man in my head? So they're drawn to each other at this point, and Louis is now intrigued with Lestat. So him and Lestat start hanging out. So he brings Lestat to his house. This is the scene right here where they're sitting at the house. So Louis sitting at the head of the table because he's the oldest. His brother Paul and his sister's fiance is next to Paul. And you got Grace and you got Lestat. And I think the mother was on the other end. But Paul automatically, like I told you, he calls it little birds in his head, but I really think it's spirit talking to him. He just doesn't know how to control it, really. Some people are very highly sensitive with that. And I mean, it's all true, y'all. I'm telling y'all, spirit really talks to people, but you have to have a way to control it. And I think with with Paul, he just doesn't have a way to control it, but he's actually getting downloads from spirit. So saying that, Paul gets a download as he's talking to Lestat. Lestat, he's like, basically he's saying, like, asking Lestat, does he know Jesus as his Lord and Savior? Are you good with God? And so he's figuring out, like, he's getting downloads, and they're telling him to ask him that. So he's getting uneasy feelings or energy from Lestat, like something ain't right with this man. He might be evil. And so as soon as Lestat feels like, okay, this man is kind of on to me and knows, a little bit too much, he starts doing the mind control thing with Paul and drawing him in. And so at that point, Louis is like, oh, you're not going to do that to my family in my house. You need to chill out. So Lestat stops. And so they kind of, go from there. So after that, they get to walk in, and he's still intrigued with Lestat. He's still very much intrigued. Louis is still very much intrigued with Lestat. Like, he is drawn to him like a moth to a flame. And I mean, for each other, actually, because Lestat is the same way. Like, he wants Louis, and Louis is intrigued with him, and he just wants to spend more time with him. So they're still walking in the streets. So they end up going to like a poker game where all the white men hang out, all the white businessmen in the area hang out, and they play poker. Lestat is there also playing poker. So Louis is trying to assimilate as a Black man in this whole, Jim Crow era. It might be even before Jim Crow, actually, but he's trying to assimilate in this type of era. And so, he's trying to like rub elbows with these men, get them on his side. He wants to be, quote unquote, the good Negro. So as they're in this whole establishment, Lestat done stop time, y'all. Lestat done stop time. And as they're playing a game, he stopped time and was talking to Louis telepathically and telling him how these men feel about him. And, they don't mean any good. And why are you dealing with stuff like this? So Louis had a hand that wasn't all that good. So Lestat, because he stopped time, he took, a card from another man's hand, gave it to Louis, and, swapped out the cards. And so he brought time back to normal. And if you are into spirituality, you know that time is subjective. In the spirit world, there is no time. So we are here in this realm, which is what's called the third dimensional realm, where we operate on time. We're like, boom, boom, boom. I need this now. I need this now. I need this now. But in the spirit realm, there is no time. Even if you are a hardcore Christian, God, there is no time, with God. Like, what could be a year with us could be like 30 minutes with God. So time is just not a factor in the spirit realm. Saying that to say that. So moving on. So Louis ends up winning the hand and taking all the poker chips. So this is even drawing Louis to Lestat even more. So this is Lestat right here, and he's like being telepathic with Louis during a card game. So Grace, which is Louis, and this is Paul, their sister is getting married. Paul don't like the husband for whatever reason. I'm not really sure, but he don't like him. He was like, do you really think that he is there for Grace? So this family, Louis, Paul, Grace, they come from a well-to-do Black family. So I'm assuming that maybe Paul maybe got a download that this man is not really there for Grace and could possibly be there just because Grace has money. We don't know. But that's just how Paul feels. He's just not feeling the husband at this, or the fiance at this point. So they end up getting married. And Louis gives his sister away, and behind Louis is the mother. So, she's very much a high, what you would call a highfalutin, or, that type. Creole, they Creole. So at the reception, Louis and Paul, they end up dancing because she couldn't have a father, Grace couldn't have a father-daughter dance. She wanted her brothers to do their dance, which I guess they used to tap dance all the time. So this is them dancing. So, let me see. So yeah, this is where we should be. So after the wedding and all that kind of stuff, of course, Lestat still got his claws into Louis. He's still like intrigued and want to see him and stuff like that. And so, they have been drinking after the party. But also, prior to this scene, Paul and Louis are having a conversation. I guess they used to climb up on the roof and have conversations as brothers and just talk. So this is what they're doing. They're climbing on the roof. They're looking at the sunset and they're just talking like they used to. So, the brother's asking, like, you still talk to Lestat? So at this time, Louis tried to separate himself from Lestat. So he was like, nah, not really, not like that, not like we used to. And so Paul is like, yeah, that's good. I think he's evil. I think he's the devil. My little birds told me that. So, at that point, Louis is just trying to like, I don't want to talk about it. Because he knows Lestat got something else with him. I don't think he knew exactly at that point. But then he talks about Grace, and you think, he's gonna be good for Grace, and Louis, reassuring his brother and stuff like that. So after they have this conversation, I don't want to put this out there where, it might trigger someone, but Paul ends up, unaliving himself. So we move on from that. So this is like, Louis is reeling from that because he was there and he saw his brother pass away. So Lestat is still talking to him, and Louis is drunk. So they end up having the funeral for Paul, and Louis is really like torn up about it because that's monumental. I mean, anything like that ever happens to you, like, you are going to be disturbed. So he's very disturbed. He feels guilty. His mom has been blaming him for it. Like, what did y'all do there? What did you say to him? Did you upset him? He's sensitive. So he's getting blamed for what happened. But Grace is like, I don't believe you had anything to do with it. We all know our brother had some issues. So moving on. So at this point, Lestat is heavy in his head. Like, when I say he's heavy in this man's head, he's heavy, like he's hearing Lestat's voice. Lestat wants him bad. Like, he wants him to be around him. And so he ends up going to the church and was like, I need y'all, I need an exorcism. I need y'all to get this, the devil is after me. So he's like, he's thrown off at this point. He's drunk, he's scared, he don't know what's going on with this. He can't get this man out of his head. So he's at the church at this point. Lestat done killed he done killed the priest. He done tore up this church trying to get at him. So at this point, he's trying to tell Louis, that, about becoming a vampire and they'll be together forever. They won't have to worry about death and blah, blah, blah. He's trying to really convince him, like, this is what is, you won't have to worry about death anymore. You don't have to worry about this. You will be like a god. So he's convincing him at this point to become a vampire. So of course he does. And this is Louis afterwards. He gets bitten by Lestat, and then he also has to drink some of Lestat's blood because that intertwines them together. They are now intertwined. He is a newborn. If y'all know the Twilight thing, he's now a newborn vampire, and he has a maker who he's now intertwined with. So now Louis is seeing the world in a whole different way. He's very sensitive to things. He's seeing things differently. Like the lights are brighter. Everything is just a lot more heightened. His senses are heightened at this point. And, he is just like in awe of what is going around. He can now read people's minds. He can now, hear things. He can see things. He can see in your past, in your future. He has all these supernatural gifts. So he's just like, he's taking it all in at this point. So him and Lestat is running together. They are tearing up and, they're hanging out. Like he's now bound to Lestat, and Lestat is bound to him. So Lestat, basically wanted to lure Louis in, and if you would say, he wanted him because being a vampire, he reveals, is kind of lonely because there's not that many of you out there, and you jeopardize yourself by getting found out by a human. So he, that's one of the things why I wanted to turn Louis, is so that he can now, not be alone. He has a running partner and he can, be with him. That's the type of thing he wants from Louis. So Louis is still going to his house and trying to keep up appearances, but the mom see right through it, like, this is the mom. And y'all, I was like, where did I know this actress from? And I kept looking and looking and looking. Then I thought, I think that's Squeak. Now, if y'all know Color Purple, I'm a big Color Purple fan as well. I was like, that is Squeak. So I couldn't think of her real name, but that's Rae Dawn Chong. So yeah, she's playing this. She's playing this, the mother. And I was like, dang, she done got, old. I don't know how old she really is, but I was just thrown off that was Rae Dawn Chong, because I just still see her as Squeak on The Color Purple, which was in like the 80s, like 83, 84. So this is her. She's the mom, and she sees right through Louis. She's like, you done made a deal with the devil. She's like, I already know what you done did. You done did something. You ain't right. and she's still mad that, he may have had something to do with Paul passing away. So, the mom is not really feeling Louis at this point. So Louis is now turned. Like I said, he's trying to assimilate and still remain, close to his family, because he is the leader of the family, because the dad is passed. So he still feels like he needs to check on them, take care of them. So at this point, Grace done had a baby. She done had, this is the third baby, because she had twins at first, and now she has, another one. And so he goes and tries to, see her baby and, just check on his family. And so, Grace is like, I know you done did something. Something's different about you. I'm not going to pry, but I just know that I know that something's different. And so when she takes off his glasses, she sees that his eyes have changed. And she was like, something has changed with you. I don't want to know, but I know something has changed. And she was like, your eyes, she's noticing his eyes. But she loves her brother. So she's not going to make a big deal about it as long as, you're still in my life. So she has him to hold the baby. Now, y'all know Louis is vampire. So this baby in his arms, he's like almost trying to control his thirst that he almost can't. His fangs come out. So he freaks out and ends up leaving the baby on the floor and gets the heck on up out of that house because he does not want to kill his daughter, his sister's baby, his niece. I don't know if it's a boy or girl, but I think it's a girl. But he's not trying to kill his relative, and hurt his sister like that. So he's trying to reckon with that. So Lestat is trying to tell Louis. Sorry, he's trying to tell Louis like, look, you're gonna have to cut your family off. You're not gonna be able to do both. You're not going to be able to continue to, go around your family and act normal because you're no longer normal. You're dead. You are dead, a dead person walking. You're just not going to be able to be normal anymore. But Louis not trying to hear that. So Louis also doesn't want to kill. And he feels bad about that. He's just like, I don't want to be that person, killing people, making them die. He was like, I just don't want to be that type of person. So Lestat is heavily into music and going to the operas and stuff like that. So the guy right here in this scene is an opera singer. He was a tenor and he was not good. He was flat. And Lestat felt offended by the man singing. Like the soprano was like outstanding, hitting all the notes, but this man was not, and he was just flat, and he was just not doing any justice to the singing he was doing, or the opera. So Lestat is heavily offended, invites the guy back to the house, and ends up killing him. And Louis not wanting to take part in it. He was like, I just don't feel like we should be doing stuff like this. So Lestat ain't trying to hear it. He was like, he offended me, and now he's now food to me. He's food at this point. And so Lestat is like, enticing him with this man. This man carotid arteries are all open. So, they end up draining this man of his blood all night. So after this, I think this is going into episode 3. Lestat and Louis, they're hanging tough now. Louis, wants to do more. He wants to have his own establishment. So him and Lestat opened up like a lounge / brothel type thing. Like, this is unusual for a African American man. He's Creole to be having this type of money and probably doing better than some of the white establishments. Probably is doing, a lot better because he has like lounge singers that, he has a brothel and, and this white man at his side, which, there's whispers that, something is going on with them, but nobody is saying nothing outright to him. But, it's whispers, two men hanging out a lot. They just like, And, and Lestat is, he's not really open, but you could tell like there's something different with this man. So they end up opening this lounge, and Lestat is at this point where he's just like, he's annoyed because Louis does not want to kill people. He wants to, instead of people, he wants cats, rats, things like that to, satisfy his hunger. But Louis is just like, I'm not trying to do it. Lestat is annoyed. Like, this is who we are. So this is a singer called Jelly Roll, and that's a real singer too. But Jelly Roll is singing at Louis' establishment, and Louis has hired him as a singer. And so, Lestat heard, because he can read minds. He heard the man say, he's about to, leave Louis and go pursue his own musical career. So he ends up kind of, I guess, so Lestat ends up kind of embarrassing the guy and say he can't play and kind of talking down about, his skills. So Lestat ends up going on the piano and kind of plays, and then they end up, having a little fun together. But yeah, this man was about to leave him in his jelly roll. So like I said, he's still trying to assimilate. He's not listening to Lestat. He's like, I'm still going to go be around my family. So now he's bringing a gift for the twins that, they look like maybe 5 or 6 at this point, the twins, and he's going to bring them gifts for their birthday. So again, he has his glasses on. He's just different than what he was in in episode 1 before he changed. It's like, okay, it's definitely a difference. Like, who are you? You got all this money. You are, hanging out with this white guy. It's just weird at this point. So he's coming in there, and the mother is not trying to let him in, and then the now husband of Grace, his sister, comes out and tries to keep him from coming in the house for whatever reason. He's like, I bought this house. What are you talking about? I pay for everything in this house. I can come in whenever I want to. So he's mad. As y'all can see on this slide, he is mad. And he is asking, like, what do you mean I can't come in here? So he done, vampires are very strong. He done kicked the whole door down, probably about to blow the house down. But he done kicked like the door in, scared the baby, scared Grace. Everybody's scared of him at this point. And the mama's like, you are a devil. You better get out of here. And so, he's just being shunned by his family. So this is the mom right here. She's like telling him to get out. Nobody wants you here, blah, blah, blah. So, meanwhile, back at the house with Lestat. Lestat is, like I said, he's annoyed with Louis. He's annoyed that he doesn't want to, kill people and feed on people. So he's trying to make Louis jealous because they are a couple, and they have fun together, and they may invite people in or whatever, but they are a couple. And so he starts to fraternize with the singer at Louis' lounge, who's a white woman who's sitting right next to him. And so he's fraternizing with her, and they're flirting and everything in front of Louis. And he's just like, I get it, because he said, I just don't have the stamina that I once had because I'm not feeding on human, I'm feeding on animals. So that's what consider him a vegetarian. And so he's just like, I get that he wants to be with someone else because he just doesn't have it to give because he's just weak. Excuse me. So the singer is, flirting back because Lestat is handsome. Sam Reed is a handsome guy. I ain't gonna lie, he's very handsome. So she's intrigued with them, and she's, asking questions like, what's going on with you and Louis? Now, we done heard rumors and stuff like that. So, Sam is flirting like, what have you heard and stuff like that. So yeah, they end up, I think they got it in a few times. And so, Louis ends up asking Lestat, like, if you're going to continue to like go outside, then I should be able to go outside too, outside of our relationship. And so Lestat was like, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. I could tell when he said it, he was lying. So yeah, Louis goes outside, and he has a friend that comes in who is going into the military. So a friend comes to his establishment, is talking to him, and this friend is someone that he's had dealings with before. So yeah, he comes in town, sees Louis, and some of them old feelings came back. And so Louis was like, shoot, I got an outside relationship. Let me go ahead and, let me get it in. So he takes them out to the bayou, and I guess they do what they do out of the bayou. I'm like, dang, just outside like that? But yeah, they do what they do in the bayou, and Lestat them follow them. and saw what he was doing, and it got mad. The stock is mad. Even though he gave Louis his blessings on going out, the stock is now mad because now he's jealous. They have an attachment now. Like he feels like Louis is his. He can do what he want to do, but Louis is his, and he doesn't want Louis to step out, which Louis did. He took him at his word and stepped out, and now he mad. So Louis, the establishment, the white men who run all the businesses in the area, they don't like the fact that Louis has basically made a grip load of money. They don't like it. They want to be able to take his business down because this is not what we do. Ain't no black man gonna come in here and make all this money. And that's not what's gonna happen. So Louis figured out, like, he I guess read the statute or whatever, that the law that was passed. So he found a loophole where if the women who work in the brothel, if they become like part owners, it would keep them from having to adhere to whatever the law that was placed. So this is one of the workers. I think she was the one who figured it out, and she was, able to, talk about all the statutes and how to get around it. So now she's basically part owner in the brothel, and so she ends up making money. Even though she's making money, doing what she does, she also makes money from the business. So it's a win-win for her. These are the men. They mad. They like, this black man ain't gonna come in here taking all our money. This is just not fair. So he can read their minds because he's a vampire and has superpowers. He reads their mind and he hears exactly what they're saying about him. So he's getting mad. Like he's getting like very mad at this point. Like he doesn't like being like he feels like he is owed a certain respect at this point, and they're not giving it to him. And they're at the same time trying to undercut him and cut him out of the business, to the point where the alderman, which is the big guy with the mustache, kind of blondish, in the white shirt, he says, what I do is just buy your business from you at 15 cents on the dollar, and you ain't even got to worry about this. And Louis is like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That's stupid. I'm not doing it. And you're not going to undercut me out my business. But you know how it is sometimes. When people jealous of you, they will do what they have to do. So let's go back. So, because and I couldn't find any slides to show this, but so the alderman that I just said, was trying to get, buy him out of his business at 15 cents on a dollar. He's like, no. And so Louis felt so disrespected and so mad at this point. He's like, you're not going to treat me like this. So he ends up breaking into the alderman's house. And the alderman is like, okay, you broke in my house, and you ain't gonna scare me into whatever. You're not about to scare me. So he ends up shooting Louis 2 times. He shoots Louis 2 times. Of course, Louis is dead, so they ain't gonna worry. It ain't gonna do anything to him. So after he sees like those bullets didn't do nothing to him, he's scared at this point, like real scared. And Louis was like, I hear your heart beating. He was like, you thinking about your kids at this point, and you doing this and that and this and that and the third. Louis jumps on the man. He done pulled his intestines out. I mean, then did all types of crap to this man, and hangs him up for the town to see that this man has been torn up. And so the white folks didn't take kindly to that. They didn't take kindly that a white man has been eviscerated at this point, and he knows it's about the whole situation that's going on with Louis and this whole in this brothel and him buying the business and stuff. So the white people in the town, they know it has something to do with it. So at this point, they're gonna raise you one more, Louis, like in poker. I'm not that good at poker. We see you and we're gonna raise you. So they raised Louis and burned down all the black businesses in the area. I think it's called Storyville. They end up burning down all the business, like Black Wall Street. How Black Wall Street was, this is how that was. I mean, burned all the businesses down, burned them down. People's out there crying. They're out there upset. They're out there, they just, businesses are burning. They are burning at this point. And Louis feels helpless, but he's like, what can I do? What can I do? But there's really nothing you can do at this point because the white people is mad at you. So he knows because he has, hypersenses at this point. I guess he knows someone is in this burning building, which is this girl right here. She's in a burning building, and I'm pretty sure she's dying at this point. So she's going to end up being turned by Louis and Lestat. And so she's going to be the next newborn vampire. Now, I don't know. This is where episode 3 kind of ends. But, and that's in the previews. So, but I don't know if she's going to be able to control herself. But, like, was it Twilight? I think it was Twilight. They said, like, the younger they are, the harder they are to control. So I don't know if that's going to be the case with this girl. But, yeah, she's younger. So she's going to be, I think she's going to be harder to control her thirst. And I think she's going to be more like Lestat, where she's okay with killing people versus killing animals. So we're going to see how that works on episode 4. But y'all, like I said, this is a very, very good show. I enjoy it. I know a lot of people say we don't like, slave shows or shows that, talk about Jim Crow era and segregation and all that kind of stuff. It has hints of it, but it's not like reliant on that. It is about his backstory as it was back in the day. And I think, it's going to keep, building off of that. But I'm telling y'all, this is a very good show. If you like the vampire, we're coming on to Halloween. So this is a perfect Halloween night. If you want to binge something on Halloween night, this would be good to binge on Halloween night. But if you're just into different things and spirituality and looking at things, because I'm telling y'all, some of this stuff, okay, is exaggeration. I won't say it's exaggeration because you just don't know. But there is more stuff out there, y'all, that as far as spirituality is concerned, there's other stuff out there. Like there's people who can actually levitate. There are people who can, maybe have that gift of being, telepathic. There's a lot of people who have certain gifts out there. I feel like my grandmother was like a medium, but she just shunned the gift. So if you don't want it, they're not gonna, throw it on you. But I feel like she was a natural medium because of the conversations we had, but she didn't like it. It scared her. So it wasn't as sensitive. She wasn't as sensitive to it. But it would be things like when my uncle passed away, she sensed him in that he was still in the house. So, she sent him on to the light and she didn't have to worry about him no more. But that's just something innate that she had. Like that was something natural that she has. So it's a lot out there. I do a lot of work with my intuition and stuff like that. And I ain't on the level of these vampires. Like, comment down below. Would y'all want to be a vampire? Like, if you could be like a vampire like Louis and Lestat, would y'all do that? I don't know if I want to be sucking on people's blood and all that kind of stuff and living forever because, Earth can be ghetto. So, I got to be on Earth for the rest of my life and you don't get old. So you watch people, that you may have attachment with just leave and you just still roaming the Earth. That's the only thing. I don't know if I would want that. Comment down below if that's something you would want to do. Like, would you want to be a vampire? I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I will rate this episode. I will rate the first 3 episodes 9.5 out of 10. I just like it. Now I did fall asleep on it a couple times only because I be tired, y'all. I'm a single parent and I work full time and my child be doing stuff after school. So yeah, I was tired. But when I'm in it and I enjoy it. So check it out. Tell me how you like it. Comment down below. I've given you everything that I've got so far. Sorry. I've given you everything that I got, and I promise you this is a good show. Please, please, please take a watch. It's on AMC. It's Interview with the Vampire, and Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire is on AMC. Check it out. I believe you can also stream it on AMC Plus. I'm not getting sponsored for it, but I mean, AMC, if you out there, if you want to sponsor me, I'm here. But yeah, I'm not getting sponsored for it. It's a really good show. I enjoy it. Hands down, I enjoy it. So until then, I'll see y'all on the next one. Married at First Sight is tonight. So Thursday, you'll probably get, something from me on Married at First Sight. I don't know. Wait, I might not have Married at First Sight. I think it's like a flashback type. I'm not gonna talk about that. So I think it's a flashback type thing. So I won't be doing a review on Married at First Sight this week. I might do something else in place of it. Excuse me. So yeah, I might do something in place of it because I think it's the following week where they actually do the decision day, if I'm not mistaken. But until then, see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.